Alright, let's face it, investing into crypto is a complete minefield. Right now, there are currently 18,991 different coins listed on coinmarketcap.com, with 99% of them just being completely useless. Yet, we still wake up all the time just to hear about somebody else that's put all of their money on some random dog token, and we're all just looking with envy at another lucky overnight millionaire. And of course, this is where the FOMO kicks in, the dreams get bigger, and before you know it, we've tried to do exactly the same thing. It's gone completely tits up, and we're back at first base calling crypto a scam again, with probably a little less money in the bank. However, that changes today because I think that over the past 5 years, I have developed the plan to, number one, keep my investments low risk, but at the same time, number two, give myself every chance of hitting that jackpot. And it's that plan that I'm going to share with you today, and it's going to be broken down into 3 different parts. First up, we have my allocation. From there, what we have is what I like to call the monthly big two. And then finally, we have the gambles. Obviously, that's going to be the most exciting part. But let's kick things off first with allocation. Now, as we know, when it comes to investing into any company, let alone a technology that is essentially going to change the world forever, there is always going to be some sort of high risk or element of risk involved with your investment. I mean, let's take 99 as an example. This is the year where we had the famous dot-com bubble crash, where basically everyone pumped their money into new tech companies after hearing about this so-called thing called the internet.
Now here on my computer, I've accessed the World Wide Web using a program called a web browser. And there are probably a lot of things that may look a little unfamiliar to you here.
This mass influx of new money caused the NASDAQ index to rise from under 1,000 points all the way up to more than 5,000 points in just 5 years. However, from there, because so much money came in so fast, and with people still not being completely sold on the idea that we would be living our world through the laptops and the iPhones that we use, the market quickly reversed with a drop of 77%, causing a lot of people to lose a lot of money. And if we do think about it, right now we are seeing the exact same thing with blockchain companies and crypto, which is why our allocation to these types of risky investments is critical. So knowing that, step number one is to get the allocation correct. And if we take a look at my allocation toward crypto investments in comparison to my entire portfolio, the number I like to aim for is just 5%. As you can see right here, this is a breakdown of my entire portfolio right now, which holds all of my different investments, which is currently valued at around £65,000, give or take. The first thing that you will notice is that over 60% of my entire portfolio is within widely diversified ETFs and index funds. From there, around 25% sits within large blue chip companies. For example, I own a big chunk of Apple stock. I also own Coca-Cola and Disney. From there, I have 9% invested into growth stocks. Now, these are actually one of the riskier plays in the stock market, but still a much safer bet than crypto. And then finally, 6% sits within the crypto investments, which is slightly higher than the 5% I desire, but basically this works out at around £4,000 that I have invested into different coins. Now you might be thinking, well, £4,000 invested isn't exactly going to make you rich overnight. Well, you could be right. But one thing that I can promise you is that it's certainly not going to make me poor when you compare it to the rest of my portfolio. And that's why I'm going to say it once more. The first step when investing into a risky play like crypto is that you need to set yourself a strict allocation of your portfolio, and then you need to stick to it. So having said that, now that we have those building blocks in place, let's now move into the next step, which is what I call the monthly big two. This step is where I essentially have a set amount that's of course in line with my allocation that I now invest into the top 2 cryptocurrencies in the world that I think are going to be the leaders in years to come. In terms of what these coins are, with these there's going to be absolutely no surprises at all. First up we have Bitcoin, and then we have Ethereum. These 2 cryptos alone actually take up more than half the entire crypto market cap, and there is absolutely no special secrets or anything exciting for when it comes to my plan to investing into them. All I'm essentially doing right now is taking roughly £200 to £300 every single month. Obviously your amount can be different depending on your situation, but what I essentially do is currently split that money right down the middle between these 2 coins every single time that I deposit. And what this basically allows me to do is something that we like to call dollar cost averaging. One month you might be buying the coins a little bit higher, the next month you could be buying it lower and getting it a little bit cheaper. But the main thing is that over the course of time, as long as I continue to do this every month, roughly around the same time, it should average out, and I have already started to see some nice gains from it. Oh, and by the way, if you wanted to know where I do all of my crypto investing, then it's going to be through Coinbase, because just like coins, there are so many different brokers out there with all of these different fancy offers, but I just like to pick one that's the biggest and the one that's going to be the most safe and reliable place to store my money. In fact, if you do sign up to Coinbase using my link in the description down below, when you do make your first investment, you will automatically receive £7.50's worth of free Bitcoin in your account as a nice little bonus. However, having said that, this video is all about getting rich with crypto, right? And it's unlikely that these two big players are going to go up, let's say, another 1,000% overnight anymore. They've kind of already had that moment, which is where it leads me to the exciting part of this plan, which is part number 3, and that is going to be the gambles. Now, as pretty much the name implies, you can probably guess what this part of the plan is all about, but essentially we now have our risk tolerance set with our allocation in comparison to our other investments. We're now investing monthly and dollar cost averaging into some of those more established coins because we believe in blockchain technology. Now it's time to have some fun with some of those unheard of, extremely risky, and in some cases jokes of an investment. And once again, it's very, very simple in terms of the way that I approach this. What I essentially do is that if I ever find myself with a spare bit of money that will not affect my life in any way, shape or form, and if that money was to disappear tomorrow, then it would mean nothing to me at all, then what I would do with that money is that I will have a little punt on some of these random coins. Now for me, I'm talking like no more than 50 quid right here. In fact, one thing that I used to like to do was go ahead and place a bet on the football every weekend, and it would be around £50 over the weekend that I would spend. Obviously, sometimes I'd win, sometimes I'd lose, but right now I'd much rather throw that £50 on a random crypto token, because at the end of the day, it's going to last more than 90 minutes, and the likelihood is the reward is going to be much higher as well. Now, when it does come to me picking one of these random silly named coins to invest into, my research into these couldn't get any more straightforward. Basically, what I like to do is just do some really, really basic research into a coin just to make sure that it's obviously legit to start off with, because there are some of these coins out there that I would just avoid non-stop. If somebody like my mate down the road has made one, I'm not going to invest into that. It's going to have to be a legit project to start off with. And then what I would do from there is find something interesting about it in terms of what they are saying they are offering different to some other coins, and then simply away I go. Everything that I do here is just kept super basic, and if I do have that overnight jackpot moment, then I am going to be cashing out straight away, and I will not be waiting for it to go up anymore in the future. One thing I have to say is that please, please, please do not let any other YouTuber out there tell you that some random dog coin is going to take over the world and they have the research to back it up. There just simply isn't any. However, the one thing that we can't hide, because the stats are all out there, is that these coins do have these random moments where they just do go insane overnight, and I just think that there is no harm in having a little gamble so that we can be part of that movement as well, potentially. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but if you haven't bought a ticket to the raffle, then you can't win. It's as simple as that. So knowing this, what we now have is a sensible 3-part plan that will not only give you the small chances to get rich overnight with the riskier coins, but it will also help you build wealth in a technology that is the next version of the internet. There's absolutely no denying that. And at the same time, whilst all of this is still happening, you're not risking your life savings by doing it along the way. But having said that, if you want to know where to start investing, then you already know to head to Coinbase, buy some crypto on the platform and get that free bonus. And if you wanted to know how I built my net worth past £400,000 with both my investment into stocks, property, and you guessed it, crypto, then you need to go and check out this video where I break all of this down right for you. I'll see you in there.